we'll be discussing about two aspects: how we are using animals in laboratory and what should be the care and welfare we must give them. So that is the topic of our study. So going to the laboratory animal use and care, because without this use of animals in laboratory or animals in research, what are the different type of animals which we are using. We are using rats, we are using monkeys, we are using rabbits, we are using, then several other, then guinea pig we are using. These are the popular animals which scientists are using in their research, especially for medical research. That is why biomedical research. And sometimes animals are also used in behavioral studies, like studies about learning, studies about memory. For all these aspects, and we are using animals. So, laboratory animal use, care and welfare are very critical aspects of biomedical research. That means without using animals, we cannot conduct most of our medical research. That is the meaning of the sentence. Ensuring that animals are treated ethically, humanely, and with the highest standards of care while being in experiments. Because I think last time I showed you a video of how certain animals like monkeys are treated. So it's very important that these animals should be considered as living organisms. Just like human beings are having pain, suffer, feelings, etc. All these animals do have their own pain, their own difficulty. That aspect we have to keep in our mind. So that's an important thing. Please keep right there. Then this practice So this practice is very important in our improving our knowledge about animals, about our medical aspects of a drug, etc. So how we are using animals? Laboratory animals such as rodents. Rodents are mainly rats and mice. And similarly rabbit, I told you, primates and many other species are used in pharmacological. Pharmacological means drug development. That is the meaning of it, pharmacological. Then toxicological. That, for example, when you are taking paracetamol, you might have heard that paracetamol has a adverse effect on liver. Taking too much paracetamol is not good for liver. So it is a toxic effect of this drug. So almost every drug has its own poisonous or toxic property. So studying about this toxic property is known as toxicological research. Then behavioral studies. As I told you, in the case of learning or memory, animals are used. So these animals contribute to the development of new medicine, therapies and vaccines. So whenever we are producing a new drug, we have to test the effectiveness of the drug on these smaller animals first. Then on higher animals like monkeys, sometimes on chimpanzees, so that we will have a almost human-like effect on these animals. And if these drugs are effective in monkeys and chimpanzees, then we can see that we can be sure that they can be also effective in a human being. So that is the importance of animal study. But what is important is that when we are using animals, there are three important considerations. One, purpose. Animals are used to study diseases, understand the biological process, test drugs and treatment, and explore potential medical intervention. What is the purpose of using animals? So these are the main purpose to study the effect of disease. For example, how a corona or a new disease is developing. Most of the time we will be we will be understanding the effect of a new disease by introducing the same virus in some other lower animal, and we will be dissecting it, and we will be studying the tissue level details and and organ level details. All these we can easily study in a lower animal like a rat. So that is the advantage of that. Second is for treatment studies also. When a new drug or a new vaccine is developed, we will be first introducing it into a lower animal, then we will be studying its effect on that. Then regulation. Their use is highly regulated by national and international standard. Nowadays you cannot use any animal, even if it is a rat or a frog, we need a lot of permission. If you want to use any animal, you have to give permission from a government body, because in every university they will be having ethical committee, and this ethical committee is usually headed by district collector. So if you want to undertake a research, you have to get ethical permission from ethical committee, and ethical committee will be meeting only once in a year or twice. Usually it is headed by district collectors. They are not easily available. So only once or twice in a year they will be coming. So when you getting this permission is nowadays not so easy. So even if you apply for 100 animals, you may be granted only 5 animals. So that is so that kind of strict regulations are there. Another aspect is ethical consideration. Use of animal is only permitted when there are no alternatives available. So for example, nowadays we don't need to study the effect of a drug on a biological animal itself. Sometimes there are a lot of software models are there. And in these software models, if you introduce a certain, if we can introduce the content of this drug into the software, it will tell what will be the possible symptoms, possible side effect this particular new drug can produce in a human body or in an animal body. So that is known as a software models. So such software models are now available. Basically, the software models are incorporating all the present level knowledge of the different effects drugs are producing. So whatever information is available in science, that will be introduced into the software model, and it will be analyzing. Some of this may be working on artificial intelligence. So it will tell this new drug, it contains these kind of chemicals. So these are the possible symptoms it can produce in a human body. So such kinds of models are available. So we don't need to introduce that drug into a rat or a monkey and test and see what are the symptoms it is going to produce. So only at the last stage, just to make a confirmation, we need to test only 1 or 2 animals. So that way we can greatly reduce the number of animals which we are killing just for their research. And the potential benefits of research outweigh the harm to animal. Animal, whether it is a rat may be living only for 1 or 2 weeks, but still it has a lifespan, and it is also a living being. We have to respect the life of that, even if it is a smaller animal. That is the aspect that is known as ethical consideration. Then next aspect is that animal care. Animal care refers to the management and daily practices ensuring that laboratory animals are housed, fed, cared appropriately to promote their health and well-being. So when we are working on a laboratory animal, they have to be kept in some cages. These cages should be very clean, and it should have sufficient air circulation. And if it is too hot, we have to provide a fan or some kind of air conditioning system if that animal requires that. Then we should be giving them enough food. So all these important things we have to ensure. That is just like when we are working on animal, it is our duty to take care of the physical and mental health of that particular animal. That aspect is very important nowadays. Earlier, no, there was no subject. We can simply ignore. If somebody is there to feed, it will get served. Nowadays, it is not like that. It is our responsibility. So, key elements of animal care include housing, nutrition, social and environmental enrichment, health monitoring and handling. So housing means animals are housed in an environment that meets species-specific needs. These include appropriate space, temperature, lighting, and ventilation. I will show you some pictures of animal houses. See, this is how animals are kept usually. See, here you can see that. So here you can see the different types of animals are kept in different kind of facilities. See, these are all cages of animals. So it is very important that these animals are placed or kept in a proper cage where there is sufficient air circulation, sufficient food, sufficient water, and they are giving good care also. Otherwise, what happen is that not only animal will be suffering, even the even the result of our testing may not be accurate because animals are stressed. Then their body will be producing lot of hormones, and these hormones can change the actual effect of the drug. So it is very important that animal will be living in a normal situation. Their physical and mental state should be in a normal level. Otherwise, we will be facing. So these are the different type of animal houses which we can see in most of the universities. Mostly here you can see that most of them will be in a AC room, etc. Because in order to reduce the chance of infection. Then, so that is about the housing. Then nutrition, type of food that we have. Animals are provided with species-specific diet to maintain their health and support. So here I will show you what kind of food. So maybe we will be getting, see, here you can see that they are giving them food. See here also you can see that. They are giving them food, they are giving them water. So this way it is very important that the animals are given proper food, proper water. Otherwise, these animals may not be in a healthy state. Unless the animals are in a very healthy state, they see here also you can see that. So this is another picture where the animals are given food. See here also you can see that. So these are all different types of different photos that show how animals are given food. Here also you can see that. So this is an important aspect of animal care, giving them good food. Then social and environmental enrichment. Efforts are being made to prevent boredom and stress by providing physical and mental stimulation such as toys, nesting material, and opportunities for social interaction. And that I will show you. See here you can see that. So this is also an important thing. This type of toys should be given. This kind of, because so that animals will be very active, they will be very happy. So that aspect is what is mentioned in the. See here you can say they have something to play. They have something there to lead a normal life which they are normally living. So these are monkeys. You know that monkeys are mostly living in tree canopies, etc., or tree branches, etc. So they will be moving up above and to the tree branches, then they will be coming down. So they should have something to mimic or replicate the same behavior here also. That is on the social and environmental enrichment. Then health monitoring. The regular veterinary care is provided to monitor. For example, if there is any kind of disease, they should be given proper medicine, immediate care. The importance of that, if they have another disease, we are giving them some virus, Along with that virus, if they happen to get another virus, like just a common cold, that will be changing the effect of the virus, effect of the primary virus which we have introduced. So the result will be altered, or results will be changed. So that aspect is also important. So monitoring the health of the rat or health of the animal is also very important in animal research. So we have to make sure that animal remains healthy and in a good state. Then handling, careful and humane handling of animals minimizes stress, injury, pain. For example, if it is a rat, we cannot hold the rat by its tail or by its neck. We have to handle it properly, just like we handle a baby. We have to handle the animal very carefully so that it doesn't have any kind of stress or discomfort. Sometimes researchers will be simply handling by its tail. So that kind of approach is not good, because that will give the animal unnecessary tension, stress, and that can also put animal into a mental suffering, and then unnecessary hormones may be produced like adrenaline that can change the effect of our, they can completely change the purpose of our study also. So these are the important aspects which are coming under the care of the animal, how we are housing the animal, how we are giving them food, how we are giving them social environment, then how we are monitoring the health, and finally the handling of the animal. Then next aspect is the animal welfare. Animal welfare refers to the ethical treatment of animals, emphasizing minimizing pain and distress. That is important. So in any animal research, we should reduce the pain and distress. That is the most important aspect in animal welfare. We should not allow the animal to suffer unnecessarily. So there are three important, one important principle which we have already studied. They are the principle of 3R: replacement, reduction, and refinement. We have discussed about that in our earlier class. That is, whenever possible, replace animals with alternate methods like cell culture or computer models. Then reduction. Don't use too many number of animals. Reduce the number as far as possible. Then refinement. Modify experimental procedure to minimize animal suffering. For example, giving them anesthesia or painkiller, so that the animal may not be feeling too much pain. So these are simple things which we can do to ensure the welfare of the animal. That is the principle of 3R: replacement, reduction, and refinement. Then finally, the human endpoints are there. This refers to stopping an experiment as soon as animal experience significant distress or harm, which prevents unnecessary suffering. For example, we have introduced a virus into an animal, into a rat, and we instead of obtaining the expected result, we find that the rat is having too much problems. So what we have to do, we have to stop that research. That is not as a humane endpoint. If we feel that animal is suffering too much than we expected, we have to stop the research. That aspect is known as a humane endpoint. The ethical review board, institutional animal care and use committee, review and approve the research protocol to ensure that experiments follow ethical guidelines and comply with the regulation. For example, when you are working on an animal, most of the time in a research center or in a university, there will be a group of people who will be in charge of that animal house. So if we are not properly taking care of the animal which we have been given, they will say that we cannot work on that. They will take over your animal and giving it to somebody else. So that is an important thing. So ethical review board, they will be closely monitoring it, and they will be they have to approve whatever methods that you are going to do with the animal. All this has to be approved by the institutional ethical committee. So that is an important committee normally present in almost every university. The legal and ethical standard. Many countries have laws and guidelines in place to ensure laboratory animals protection, such as Animal Welfare Act in the United States. or European Union's Directive 263 on the protection of animal use for scientific research. Even in India also we have our own animal welfare laws. So we have to strictly follow what are the guidelines mentioned in this animal welfare laws. Otherwise we will be in legal trouble. Then regulations and oversight. The laboratory animal use is highly regulated by national and international organizations to ensure that animals are treated humanely. That is the most important. Animals are given some kind of care. They are not misused or mismanaged. So institutional animal care and use committee, as I already told you, there should be one. That national and international guidelines. This is already mentioned in the previous slide. Then international cooperation, like World Health Organization, International Council of Laboratory Animal Science, that is an important body. Then Federation of European Laboratory Animal Science Association. These are all global associations which ensure that animals are given proper care. So at the national level and also at the international level, there are a lot of organizations like WHO, International Council for Laboratory Animal Science, Federation of European Animal Science Association. They will be meeting and periodically reviewing what are the changes that has to be introduced in the animal welfare laws, which we have to follow. And finally, the ethical challenges and controversies. Despite very rigorous ethical standards, use of animals in research remains a subject of controversy. Some of the important ethical concerns: animal rights. Animal rights groups argue that using animal in research is unethical and non-animal alternatives should be pursued more aggressively. According to this, the people who advocates for animal rights, they say that we should not use animals. They are also living beings. We should not use animals. We should not kill animal just because it benefits human being. So their argument is that whenever possible, we should use other model. Now, as I told you, computer models or software model, rather than directly working on animal. Pain and distress. Even with the best care, animals may experience pain and distress. Even if you are giving them a lot of care, they still have a lot of pain, which raises concern about the morality of causing such a suffering. Just because a rat, just to test it, like we are taking a rat and we are introducing that rat, sometimes we are cutting certain parts of the rat, sometimes a portion of the skin. So all this will be causing significant pain and suffering to the rat or to the animal. That is not advisable. The long-term effects on the animal. The long-term effects of laboratory environment on animal, psychological and physical health are also important. Because when animals are used in a laboratory setup for many months or many years, it is also a living organism. It has its own mental and emotional state which can be changed. And final aspect is that laboratory animal use and care involve balancing the need of scientific advancement. So we cannot completely remove animal research. Because if we completely remove animal research, what will happen is that you cannot bring any new medicine. So that is so there should be a balance. Wherever possible, we have to reduce the use of live animal. Use of animals in research is essential for improving human and animal health. But it must be conducted responsibly following the guidelines and regulations given by the government. Efforts to refine research practices and replace animal models with alternatives are ongoing, aiming to reduce the need for animals in research. So nowadays what is happening that we don't need to use animals because we have now AI models. And based on these AI models are very smart because we can input data, all the present data, available data into this AI model, and they will tell you this particular new drug can have this kind of symptom, and it can create a lot of this kind of problems in each particular organ. This AI model can predict. So only minimal use of animals are now necessary. So that is one advantage of artificial intelligence also. It can reduce a lot of live animals being killed. So this is an important aspect of the animal welfare. What are the important important things that we have to take care, and how animals should be cared in animal houses, then how they about the use of different animals in research.